Painting. Find Ajanta on map 7, page number 105. This is a place where several caves were hollowed out of the hills over centuries. Most of these were monasteries for Buddhist monks, and some of them were decorated with paintings. Here are some examples. As the caves are dark inside, most of these paintings were done in the light of torches. The colors, which are vivid even after 1,500 years, were made of plants and minerals. The artists who created these splendid works of art remain unknown. There are two paintings shown on this page. These paintings are from Ajanta. Describe what you see in each of these paintings. Page number 119. The world of books. Some of the best-known epics were written during this period. Epics are grand, long compositions about heroic men and women and include stories about gods. A famous Tamil epic, the Silappadikaram, was composed by a poet named Ilango. Around 1,800 years ago. It is the story of a merchant named Kovalan who lived in Puhar and fell in love with a courtesan named Madhavi. Neglecting his wife, Kannagi. Later, he and Kannagi left Puhar and went to Madurai. Where he was wrongly accused of theft by the court jeweler of the Pandya king. the king sentenced Kovalan to death. Kannagi, who still loved him, was full of grief and anger at this injustice. And destroyed the entire city of Madurai. A description from the Silappadikaram. Here is how the poet describes Kannagi's grief. O witness of my grief, you cannot console me. Is it right that your body, fairer than pure gold, lies unwashed here in the dust? Is it just that in the red glow of the twilight, your handsome chest, framed with a flower wreath, lies thrown down on the bare earth, while I remain alone, helpless and abandoned to despair? Is there no God? Is there no God in this country? Can there be a God in a land where the sword of the king is used for the murder of innocent strangers? Is there no God? No God? Another Tamil epic, the Mani Mekhalai, was composed by Sattanar. Around 1,400 years ago. This describes the story of the daughter of Kovalan and Madhavi. These beautiful compositions were lost to scholars for many centuries, till their manuscripts were rediscovered about 100 years ago. Other writers, such as Kalidas, about whom you read in chapter 10, wrote in Sanskrit. Page number 120. A verse from the Meghdoot. Here is a verse from Kalidas's best-known poem, the Meghdoot, in which a monsoon cloud is imagined to be a messenger between lovers who are separated from one another. See how the poet describes the breeze that will carry the cloud northwards. A cool breeze, delightful as it is touched with the fragrance of the earth, swollen by your showers, inhaled deeply by elephants, and causing the wild figs to ripen. Will blow gently as you go. Do you think Kalidas can be described as a lover of nature. Recording and preserving old stories. A number of Hindu religious stories that were in circulation earlier were written down around the same time. These include the Puranas. Puran literally mean old. The Puranas contain stories about gods and goddesses, such as Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, or Parvati. They also contain details on how they were worshipped. Besides, there are accounts about the creation of the world and about kings. The Puranas were written in simple Sanskrit verse and were meant to be heard by everybody, including women and Shudras. Who were not allowed to study the Vedas. They were probably recited in temples by priests, and people came to listen to them. Two Sanskrit epics, the Mahabharata and Ramayana, had been popular for a long time. Some of you may be familiar with these stories. The Mahabharata is about a war fought between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, who were cousins. This was a war to gain control of the throne of the Kurus and their capital, Hastinapur. The story itself was an old one, but was written down in the form which we know it today, about 1,500 years ago. Both the Purans and the Mahabharata are supposed to have been compiled by Vyas. The Bhagavad Gita, about which you learned in chapter 9, was also included in the Mahabharata. The Ramayana is about Ram, a prince of Kausal. who was sent into exile. His wife Sita was abducted by the king of Lanka named Ravan. And Ram had to fight a battle to get her back. He won and returned to Ayodhya. The capital of Kausal, after his victory. Like the Mahabharata, this was an old story that was now written down. Valmiki is recognized as the author of the Sanskrit Ramayana. There are several versions, many of which are performed, of the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, popular amongst people in different parts of the subcontinent. Find out about a version in your state.